Today I'm bringing a century-old quilting style back to life, and I'm blending it with one of my favorite modern patterns. There is a lot to love in this video. Gorgeous fabrics, a design that's simple to make, and a technique I've never used before. It's the old and new stitched into one. This video is sponsored by Craftsy. I have this charm pack right here with a lovely blend of colors and patterns. It's like a garden in fabric form. Elegant, dramatic prints featuring florals, leafy branches, and also birds and rabbits that bring a garden to life. It's soft, graceful, and full of charm. But let's put these aside for now, because today we are doing something completely different. Welsh quilting. Have you ever heard about it? I hadn't until I stumbled upon it recently, and now I want to learn all there is to know about it. Welsh quilts date back to the 19th century. They're known for their intricate designs, often done in one solid color and filled with spirals and leaves and paisleys and geometric motifs. And today I am blending this beautiful old tradition with a modern quilt pattern. Let's see what happens. We start by using this pretty solid fabric that I'm marking with my iron. Then I am adding some simple Welsh quilting shapes to it with my heat erasable pen. I don't have any templates or anything like that to help me. I'm just making do with what I've got. You can use a compass for the round shapes or just take a plate or a lid, as a template. I am using 9.5-inch squares. I have 2 feet for this, my walking foot and my free motion quilting foot. Let's add our batting and get ready to sew. You can use a temporary glue pen or spray to help you. So why haven't I heard of Welsh quilting before? Apparently, it's a dying art, which is completely unacceptable. I found it on Craftsy, where there's an amazing class by Tia Curtis. The moment I saw it, I knew I had to try it myself. If you've been following me for a while, you know I am a big Craftsy fan. It's an online learning platform for all things creative with more than 2,000 classes. And I use it to learn just about anything, from sewing, cooking, painting, you name it. But this class opened up a whole new world. At first I thought it might be a little bit too complicated, but Tia breaks it down beautifully. I'm taking her lead, and I have added a few charming elements that I saw her use. Starting with a center medallion that's meant to be the star of the show. Now, if you own a ruler quilting feet, you can use that too, but I don't. A ruler sewing foot is one of those that's really tall and stays really close to the fabric, and that way, when you're using a ruler to guide your quilting, it doesn't end up under the needle. But you don't necessarily need one, okay? It just makes life a little bit easier. I'm using the same color line, and I'll show you why in a bit. I'll be honest, I used to think Craftsy was a little bit too beginner level for me. Simple projects, nothing I hadn't seen before. Oh boy, was I wrong. This Welsh quilting class really showed me, and it's not the only one. Some classes go deep into methods I've never seen explained this clearly anywhere else. And because everything on Craftsy is so well organized, there's no second guessing whether you missed a step. It's all right there, laid out from start to finish. Now that I've quilted the big lines, let's get into the details. Another thing you may have noticed is that most elements have 2 lines, like a main line and a shadow one, separated by 1/4 of an inch or less. I turn to Craftsy not just when I want to learn something new, but when I want to be inspired. It's become a part of my routine. Next on my list is a crochet quilt fusion project, if you will. I think it will look amazing, but I need to learn how to crochet first. And Craftsy is exactly where I'll start. I cannot wait. If you've never explored Craftsy before, now's the perfect time, because the first 1,000 people to click on the link in the description will get 1 full year of premium Craftsy membership for just $149. I mean $149 instead of $123 for unlimited access to thousands of inspiring classes all year long. This special offer is for new members only, and spots are limited, so don't wait. Just click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to get started. And before you know it, this is what we have. How great are erasable pens? No line in sight. Here's our first quilt block. Just look at this. We have 3 more to go. Traditionally, Welsh quilting is done by hand, so Tia's way is already saving so much time and effort because it's done with a sewing machine. It was usually a whole cloth, so just one large piece of fabric where you add the quilting, and that's the star of the show. Here I am making separate quilt blocks because quite honestly, it's easier to do one block at a time instead of a big piece. Also, if I ruin one of them, I just start over, so it takes a lot of the pressure off. Like this one. Yeah, this is the reason why I am using a yellow thread instead of a different color, and this loftier batting instead of a regular one. It makes such a difference. It's a completely different project if you look at them. Another thing I've learned with this block is to do it like you would do, free motion quilting. You don't cut the thread, you just retrace your stitches to move on to a different element. It makes the quilting last longer, no loose threads, and you don't have to go around cutting those pesky points. I wanted each of the 4 blocks to be completely different, but I also wanted them to complement each other, to be connected somehow. Now, another thing Tia mentions that I would love to know more about, but I'm struggling to find more information, is that each element has a meaning. Like the swirls mean eternity and the passing of time, perfect for representing eternal love. Or the sprouts that represent new life and growth and are perfect for baby quilts. And this is what we have. How absolutely gorgeous are these, and how easy were they to make? Now that our pretty Welsh quilted blocks are done, it's time for our second quilt block. We need 5 of them, and we need them to be around 9.5 inches as well. Now, there are a lot of quilt blocks I could have picked to give us that ancient look, but I ended up picking a simple cross. This quilt block truly is one of my favorites because it's so easy and so stunning. I am cutting 42-inch wide squares to create our lovely crosses using those stunning charm pack squares I showed you a little bit earlier. We need 25-inch squares, and I have picked my absolute favorites, the one I feel work better with the yellow we used for our other blocks. Now it's time to sew 2 white squares in 2 opposite corners of each of our charm pack squares. This piece we're making today would be a perfect table topper, or maybe a small tablecloth. I have a couple small ones I've made over the years, for tea breaks when I'm feeling fancy, and I love them. Okay, this is what we have. 20 quilt blocks done in a jiffy. Time to pick our cross mixes. We could place them like so, or make O's. I love this actually, but I think a cross is more in line with the whole feel of the quilt. The O's to me are a little bit more modern. And now we sew our 4 pieces together real quick to see what our quilt blocks will look like when they're done. And now we press. And these are our cross quilt blocks looking all ready to go. Time to puzzle. We mix our Welsh quilted blocks with our crosses to make what is possibly one of my favorite quilts of all time. I know, I always say this, but I mean, just look at it. I've checked our 4 blocks to make sure they match the size of our crosses before we sew. I left a bigger margin for each for this exact reason. If I had spread the design to the border of our squares, it would have been a disaster. And now we sew. First rows as usual, although this is a 3x3 quilt, so it doesn't really matter what you sew first. And I cannot wait to see our final results. I'm guessing the yellow fabric will pop out among the charm pack squares that are a little bit more subdued. At the same time, this will be a quilt top you can look at for hours and always find teeny tiny details you missed before, and those are my absolute favorites. All there's left to do is press before I can show you the final result. And here we have it, our stunning, one-of-a-kind quilt made with Welsh quilting and the prettiest crosses ever. I am in love with this technique and I intend to learn all there is to know about it. I am hooked. Thank you for watching, and I will see you really soon. Bye bye!